Good evening, good night, and welcome to Mindful Live over there on YouTube. Welcome, it's Mindful Live 485. Thank you for being here. Presently 9:55 in the beautiful Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Paradise on earth, if I might say so myself. And I do say so myself. Once you're on the inside, make sure you hit that like button, double tap the screen over there on TikTok. That's how you hit the like button over there. If you are looking at this on YouTube, hit the like button too. It's a nice tap, nice little caress, whatever word you prefer. And hit that like button, drop a comment if you have something to say. Make sure you subscribe if you aren't yet subscribed over there on YouTube. Sorry, Nathan Spring out there on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribing, and as per usual, this is brought to you by Mindful Education, the educational institution that I run. So if you are interested in those extra classes, make sure you hit us up. What the show is about, my brother, the show is about all kind of things, my brother. We're talking about news and current affairs and whatever passes our interest over the next couple minutes, eh? So the first thing we're talking about in terms of the news is the state of emergency has come to an end. And what are our police saying about this? Police, we have learned lessons during the state of emergency. Police say they have learned lessons coming out of the recent state of emergency, which saw more than 4,000 people arrested and almost 1,600 charged. The SOE was declared on December 30th in an effort to curb a wave of killings linked to gang violence. It ended on April 13th as it could not be extended since Parliament had been dissolved for the upcoming April 20th general election. Speaking at a police media briefing on April 15th, Acting Police Commissioner Junior Benjamin said the police are grateful for the outcomes of the SOE. Pointing to the reason for the SOE, Benjamin said the TTPS was able to achieve its objectives. Intelligence that was gathered which suggested that there would be reprisal killings as it relates to gang warfare. When we look at our results at this time, we can say that we're able to avert those things because of the SOE and above all because of a strong team spirit within the TTPS. Benjamin said police have learned lessons coming out of the SOE, and murders, woundings, robberies, car thefts, property crimes, and violent crimes were all down compared to last year. I would consider this the new normal for TT. We will go forward understanding that there are lessons learned, and we are going to take those lessons learned to develop and reinforce those things that must be done and those strategies that we must employ to ensure that we continue to keep and to make TT safe once again. All right. Good night, Otis. Did they charge the 14, is it 14? But they charged some of the men that they had apprehended there. DCP Investigations and Intelligence Suzette Martin said almost 1,600 of the 4,038 people arrested during the SOE have been charged. She said 835 people were arrested for serious crimes, 429 for minor crimes, and 326 charged for minor offenses. Martin says police remain on high alert although the SOE has ended. She warned criminals and their supporters that police will not ease up on their investigations. Let me be clear. There'll be no safe haven for criminal elements, whether you are a gang leader, an enforcer, or someone enabling them behind the scenes. We are coming, says the police. So far, police have charged 11 people who were held under the authority of a preventative detention order during the SOE. Martin said those charged face serious allegations, including being gang members, gun possession, conspiracy to murder, and attempted murder. Martin identified them as Thomas Ali, Akim Purcell, Carissa Rampol, Naftali Bonaparte, Joshua Moon, Shaquille Pinder, Jarrell Babulal, Joven Gomes, Shane Benito, Kima McShine, and Calvin Lee. Simon said there have not yet been any legal challenges filed against any arrests made during the SOE. Make TNT safe again. Great election slogan. Why no one used it? Lol. Lol is right. Lol is right, because I don't think people really want that association. At least not so tight. Not so tight. But our police are assuring us that the 103 days or how much ever of state of emergency wasn't in vain. The police learned lessons that they are carrying forward. Okay. The main reason that they proffered for the state of emergency was gang violence, and they still have some reputed gang leaders and high-level gangsters under arrest, in custody. No bail for alleged 6 gang leader Tyson. Alleged 6 gang leader Calvin Lee, also called Tyson, has been remanded to prison after he was denied bail on April 15th. Lee of Clifton Tower, St. Paul Street, Port of Spain, appeared before Master Kimitria Gray, charged with being the leader of a gang. On January 17th, Lee was detained under a ministerial preventative detention order during the recently ended state of emergency. In September 2024, a similar charge against him had been dismissed by a High Court master for want of prosecution. Otis asks, how can he afford senior counsel Pamela Elder? Because the man is a businessman, apparently. So ghetto youths can't have business and money? Eh? That's what you're saying, Otis? So a black ghetto youth, what you're saying is black ghetto youth must just suffer out here. Eh? The ghetto youth and them must just suffer. A ghetto youth can't get a little forwards in this life. Eh? So the senior councils must only represent the 1% and the 1% children, eh? Eh? The black ghetto youth and them can have a senior council too. The man is a businessman. If he has his things, he has his things. And Abdul, I wonder about that too. Apparently, it seems like he's the only leader there is in Trinidad. Like there's only one gang in this place, apparently. But there is some suggestion that another one who may be of interest is currently seeking asylum in some other country. That's what is reputed. So, I mean, I guess, how are you going to arrest him if he is an asylee in another country? Listen, that should show you the kind of mess that some of those countries are in. If you wanna know why so many people over yonder were willing to choose the Cheeto guy, were willing to choose Orange guy, because he say he's going to throw everybody out. That's kind of why, yo. So what about Interpol? What is Interpol supposed to do? What is Interpol supposed to do? But that was the reason for the SOE. So I suppose they kind of have to make sure they go down that road with him. Good night, Karim Delpesh. They kind of have to make sure that they go right down that road, because if he is released, it kind of seems at least like he would have to throw out the entire SOE. What was the point of the entire SOE? Yes, I know, Butch. But you would think that you'd have to vet your people a little more seriously than that. And I don't know if they necessarily have enough evidence to effectuate an international arrest warrant for him. Concord Road says he'll be released after elections. Listen, they charged him, I think what they charged him with is being a gang leader. I think that's a kind of hard thing to prove in a court. I don't know. I am not a lawyer. I have never tried it. I am not a judge. So I don't know. But I am not sure how exactly you're going to prove that he is a gang leader. And the Gang Act is what he'd be charged under, but you don't prove something under an act. You prove something by evidence and proof. And what will be the evidence? Do you have witnesses that will confess, I am a gang member and this guy is my leader? Do you have some of those witnesses? I don't know. But I think it would be interesting to see that case play out. And you could wonder indeed, as who said it, Concord Road, you could wonder indeed if some of this is all electioneering also, where they are interested in holding him past that election date so it doesn't look like the SOE was without purpose. I mean, he was the point guy basically that they were saying was responsible for the SOE. That was kind of the suggestion. An attempt was made on his life. Then the very night, 5 men were murdered somewhere up in Laventille. And then the next day, the SOE was called because they were worried. What they said was they were worried that the reprisals are going to start to pile up. So he was kind of at the epicenter of this whole thing. So I think they cannot release him and just allow him to go without making it seem like the whole endeavor was pointless. So you kind of have to go down the road, see how far the road takes you. Maybe it will take you to him winning some more money off of Trinidad and Tobago, because I am not sure if we are going to win a case like this. Maybe they have the evidence. I don't know. Having the evidence is the main thing. If they have the evidence, great for them. But if you don't have the evidence, don't say things you don't have the evidence for. These fellas out here in a swing mood, apparently. So if you don't have the evidence, don't say the things. Imbert demands apology, damages over social media posts. In the coming weeks, attorneys for public utilities Minister Colm Imbert are expected to file defamation claims against 2 individuals who are allegedly making defamatory statements both about him on social media platforms Facebook and TikTok. Exactly, Abdul. Evidence to charge is not always evidence to convict, as we see time after time. Erla is still waiting on her court case. Imbert's attorneys have written to Gerard Small, Mr. X of More FM 104.7 FM, who is contesting the St. Anne's seat for the COP, and Robert Matthew Gibbs, demanding an apology, retraction of the posts and videos, assurances the statements will not be repeated, and a reasonable proposal for damages. The letters sent by attorney Mpule Williams of Hove and Associates contend that Imbert's name and image were used in multiple posts and videos that refer him in defamatory terms and other language, implying he was a criminal, dishonest, corrupt, or incompetent, among other serious allegations. And listen, I am glad for these lawsuits on all sides, all around. Because some people give their mouths too much liberty. If you could prove something, if you know something is true, if something has been proven before, Granwell, say what you have to say. But don't give your mouth that kind of liberty if you don't have the proof. And I guess if you have the proof, the court case is solved. So you don't even have to worry about that. But it's not just him. PEP leader demands apology from Gary Griffith over alleged social statements. Attorneys representing Philip Edward Alexander, political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party and candidate for Port of Spain North St. Anne's West, have requested the National Transformation Alliance leader, Gary Griffith, issue an apology and retraction concerning statements allegedly made on social media. Petronilla Bastio, Genevieve Thompson, and Aaron Patrick issued a pre-action protocol letter to Griffith on April 14th. The lawyers making their names this season. If party politicians commit a crime, are they gang members and leaders? No, I don't think so. The entire party would have to be oriented towards the illegal activity, the criminal activity. Trinidad really get like America, yes, is sue. Hey, I don't mind. I like it. I have no problem with these kind of lawsuits. Let's see who is willing to stand on what they say. You're not entitled to just say things about people and let it stand and it's untrue. I didn't hear the voice recording they're alleging Mr. Griffith sent out there. I don't even know what the slanderous terms are. And you see, this is part of it on the flip side though. Hello Shazam, if indeed you are worried about being slandered, maybe launching a lawsuit and announcing it in the newspaper isn't exactly the way to rectify it. Because now I am going to have to go out and search and find out what was said, while I wouldn't have known otherwise. Imbert threatens to sue 9 for social media posts. Public Utilities and PNM General Elections candidate for Diego Martin, Northeast Colmembert, has confirmed legal action is underway against 9 individuals, including a Congress of the People candidate, over defamatory statements made about him on social media. Speaking with Guardian Media at a graduation ceremony for the pipe plumbing skills training program, Imbert said pre-action protocol letters were being issued. I can't recall all of them at the moment. I believe it's about 9. I'll have to wait to get back to you on that, Imbert said when asked about the individuals involved. So yeah, listen. Especially when it comes to the senior ranks of all of the political parties, but even especially our opposition party, they have lawyers and extras. People within the ranks and within the safety of the UNC fold, they don't have much to worry about when it comes to legal representation. Cockroach do belong in foul party though. I have the cause to say this very regular. Cockroach have to careful how they dancing in the foul dance. So if you know you ain't up there, you don't have a lawyer on speed dial. You don't have a line of lawyers just waiting for an opportunity to prove themselves with you. You have to be careful what you're posting out there. Don't let these political parties chain you up into losing a bag or getting yourself thrown in prison. Watch him out. Tone it down. Acting Commissioner of Police, Ethics Council boss issue warning as 3 arrested for inciting violence. Acting Commissioner of Police has confirmed that charges are expected to be laid against one person for inciting political violence online, while investigations into others have been launched as the TTPS asserts it's taking a zero-tolerance approach to threats made in the run-up to the April 28th general election. Careful. Careful. The way I see these activists making allegations on social media, crazy. Otis says, I was surprised they didn't hit him with a charge of sedition. Listen. These people have to be careful. And that's why I say, though, I don't have a problem with the court cases. I don't have a problem with the court cases, because I think people should be held accountable for their words. We shouldn't have people just shooting off their mouth saying any and everything across social media. That is what makes the toxic social media environment, where we can't trust anything. We could barely scroll the social media without seeing another vitriolic kind of nonsense. Bring on the court cases, by all means. Bring on the charges, by all means. Have some behavior on the people internet. And learn that there are consequences for actions. And that is a modern issue. I think that is going to be a growing modern issue as we see Gen Z and Gen Alpha getting into older and older age brackets. Because Gen Z in particular, they are the online trend crowd. Listen. If you could get the ice bucket challenge to go, if you could get those TikTok style challenges to go, where something becomes a fad, you're going to get a lot of Gen Z to come along. If you get them to treat it like a fad, that's why these kind of things, you have to nip it in the bud. It can't be allowed to proliferate. As soon as they pop up, pop them down. Whew. I see CXC is looking to break up the subjects into modules now. Interesting stuff, interesting stuff. Brian McKnight is facing legal trouble in Trinidad. A Trinidadian promoter is looking to sue him. I starting a GoFundMe to bail the Trinidad artist. Okay, go ahead. Good luck. I won't be sending my money. Is CXC online as yet? What do you mean online? The exam itself? Why don't they just abandon CXC and use the US grading system? Listen, to me, that's up to the parents now, you know. It's up to the parents now. The parents kind of have to smell the rat as it pertains to CXC. Parents have to see what is what and make their decisions for their children. And the truth is, you are not as cornered in decision making as you may be led to believe. There are choices you could make in this. There are many different directions you could take it. There are people in Trinidad who are using and going to school according to the grading system. There are people like that. There are children, as we do in Mindful Education, there are children doing this separately, totally, homeschooling. If you are interested, feel free to message us at Mindful Education over on Instagram there. My brother Matic Boss, what's the good? And no, CXC is not online as an exam yet. I don't think that is going to be the case anytime soon. And I mean, I don't know if I would be up in arms about CXC not necessarily being an online exam. I am not as infatuated with putting everything necessarily online like that per se. So just cool, nice man, hold it down. Hey, here this little quick funny story. I guess it's not funny for the man involved, but unfortunately it's funny for us. Trying to make peace with wife, man's car stolen. A Kunupia man was attempting to make peace between himself and his wife. Who was attempting to make peace between himself and his wife, was robbed of his car on Saturday night in El Dorado. Unfortunate situation. Police were told by the 37-year-old victim that between 9:20 p.m. and 9:45 p.m. he had parked his Toyota Fielder wagon off the Eastern Main Road near Shams Electronics and ran to get the attention of his wife. The victim told police he and his wife began arguing while heading east along the Eastern Main Road. He said that during the quarrel, she got out the car and stormed off in the El Dorado area. Men. Why will men do this? I'm not saying that such has happened to me. I'm not saying that. But speaking for a friend, this is such a regular occurrence here. What kind of mad behavior is this? You vex. So after 9 in the night, you jump out the car and walking down El Dorado. And the man from Kunupia. So if his wife is living with him, I suppose she is from Kunupia too. There is not even no El Dorado woman. Otis says she would have traveled or walk home. Otis, I understand the sentiment. But if that's his wife, you're going to leave your wife to walk down El Dorado Main Road 9:30 in the night, half past 9 in the night. Abdul and all saying she was walking home. So if all you sit down home, some not say I experienced that with a mad girl from Tobago. Listen, if you with a Trinbagonian girl, that is a very common experience for men. That jump out the car and going, I will walk. I think it's probably more a Caribbean wide thing. Yeah? Very common. But listen. All right, you tell she girl, well walk now. You big and strong and bad, you walk, I going home. You drive home. If that phone ring and you hear some sour news, you see, and that is what the women know when they jump out the car. They know it is a power move. They're playing on their strengths. They know that all these men in the chat here who talking about they will make the wife walk, they know that these men are lying to themselves. They know that somehow the man going and have to spin the block, even if he pretend he drive off, he going and have to spin the block and peep from the corner. Abdul says, what she come out the car for? She looking for me to get rob my car now. Well, that is literally what happened. Homeboy decide, well, I go and run she down and bring she back in the car. And to show his mad girl game she playing, she and him went back to the car, so she jumped out the car and still was willing to go back to the car with him. So it was mad girl game she's on. Now the outer whole Toyota feel that. I coasting, I had a real coast. He's supposed to hold that in his back pocket till death do us part. No, Otis say we was getting divorced the next day. No. This is my ammunition forever. So you're gonna get we car stolen again, no? Remember your OE car. Anytime she start to act up too much. Remember that kind of behavior lost we our car already, you know? Pop down. The last time you get on SOE, we lost our whole car. That is ammunition. I mean, I guess if he's the kind of guy that jumps out the car and runs after the woman, I'm not sure he would have the constitution to use that as ammunition, because obviously this lady seems to have a bit of a hot head. Obviously. That's manipulative tactics though, eh? That's some heavy manipulation. You're basically threatening the man by putting your life at risk. That's some heavy manipulation. You are depending on the fact that I am so dependably protective that I wouldn't leave your tail in El Dorado. And if you're depending on the fact that you know I care for you so much, why are you even jumping out the car to make all this papi show scene? Girl, sit down in the car and behave yourself now. Abdul said, now self she going and play mad, he have no wheels. Hey, if she going with a van man now, poor fella, he will lose it. If she leave him for no week, nah. Fellas, we just had to go through it. After saying full Trini balance, fellas, we just have to go through it. Karim Delper says, if you want the right to say what you want, you need to learn their consequences to those actions. Facts, bro. Good night, Roger Rabbit John. You gonna have to buy a vessel. Well, everybody has a vessel these days, apparently. Not me. I'm not yet in that kind of crowd, but apparently everybody has one. And I spoke about this story, last story for the evening. I spoke about this story yesterday. I don't think I actually read it though. Let's just take a quick browse of this story and tell me what you all think. Hungary passes constitutional amendment to ban LGBTQ plus public events, seen as a major blow to rights. What a word choice. Hungary's parliament on Monday passed an amendment to the constitution that allows the government to ban public events by LGBTQ plus communities, a decision that legal scholars and critics call another step toward authoritarianism by the populist government. The amendment, which required a 2/3 vote, passed along party lines with 140 votes for and 21 against. It was proposed by the ruling coalition led by populist Prime Minister Viktor Orban. Blessed night feelings. What's the price for a vessel bumper? I don't know, brother. I don't know. That's my friend from work drop me home. Agreed. Friend from work drop you home. Agreed. Yeah. The amendment declares that children's rights to moral, physical, and spiritual development supersede any right other than the right to life, including that to peacefully assemble. Hungary's contentious child protection legislation prohibits the depiction or promotion of homosexuality to minors aged 18 and under. Listen, I agree with their base statement there. A child's right to moral, physical, and spiritual development supersedes any right other than the right to life, including that to peacefully assemble. Here's what that is saying. So some people say that we have a right to peacefully assemble based on their constitution, right? You have that right. But if you peacefully assemble in a pornographic assembly, that transgresses a child's right to proper moral development. And if so, your freedom to peacefully assemble will be revoked. If there's a competition between your right and a child's right for proper moral development, the child's right would supersede. So I think I'm in agreement with that. The amendment codifies a law fast-tracked through Parliament in March that bans public events held by LGBTQ plus communities, including the popular Pride event in Budapest that draws thousands annually. That law also allows authorities to use facial recognition tools to identify people who attend prohibited events and come up with fines for them. A lawmaker with the opposition party who participated in the attempted blockade said before the vote that Orban and his party for the past 15 years have been dismantling democracy and the rule of law, and in the past 2 or 3 months we see that this process has been sped up. Listen, I hate to see this kind of nonsense that people see. So this man and a group of protesters attempted to block the entry to Parliament to make sure that no one could have gone in to make this vote. And then this man says that the people who went to vote for this law are dismantling democracy and the rule of law. You are the one attempting to stop them from democratically making a law. So how are they dismantling democracy and the rule of law? How does that work? Public indecency for them in St. Clair, they're lucky I ain't police. I agree. And listen, even if you believe that society should allow the fringes to be comfortable, if that's your belief, okay. But there's no way that society should focus and celebrate the fringe. That is nonsense. The point of society is the propulsion of the society. Why would a society glorify anything that pulls away from its continuance? And that entire movement is the creation of genetic dead ends. Let me be careful before I get kicked off of one of these absent. But I don't have a problem with that. I won't have a problem if they pass that law here in Trinidad also. You what you do and what you do and what you like. Personally, I don't think that someone needs to go to prison because they go the wrong way on a one-way street. Going the wrong way on a one-way street isn't a prison sentence, in my opinion. I shouldn't have to get more graphic than that, right? Going the wrong way on a one-way street, on a one-way dirt track, going the wrong way on a one-way dirt track shouldn't necessarily be a prison sentence. I'm fine with that. You don't have to throw people in prison for that. Okay. But we don't have to make room in society to glorify you and to make you feel welcomed and accepted. No, we don't have to do that. You could do your do. And no one punishes you for it necessarily, but no one has to glorify it. No one has to feel happy about it. No one has to feel proud. Like, what is to be proud? I don't even understand that. I don't even understand where is the pride? What am I proud about in this case? I don't know. The whole thing is a very shady thing, innit? Keep it in private, keep it out the schools. Facts. I agree. And just to touch on that point, as some people bring up, for example, sexual education and that kind of stuff. Sexual education is supposed to be dealing with the reproductive side of sex. Sexual intercourse. If you read that in the dictionary, I don't know if they changed it now, but previously in the dictionary, that was a gendered thing. All of the rest is kink. That's not to be taught in school. You don't teach kink in school. We teach you when these acts are performed, that's how you get new human beings. Grand. That's the biology. That's what sex is about. That is what it's for. You need to teach them no other person weirdness. I agree, Tollis. And Trump burned down that to some extent, yes. What's your opinion on drag queens? I had a conversation with my mom, a U.S. national. She believes, consider Tyler Perry. My opinion on drag queens, I don't like them. I don't get it. I don't find it entertaining to me. I find it ridiculous. I find it offensive. I don't know if I'll say you have to ban it, but it does nothing positive to me. I don't understand the point of exaggerated feminine features on an obvious man and why that is a thing. Like, for what? As I've heard some people say, it is a minstrel show for women. A minstrel show of women. You know, where the minstrel shows attempted to make a mockery of blacks and slaves. That's kind of what they're doing to women. I doesn't do anything for me, I could tell you that. I don't understand the entertainment value at all. And then when it comes to decide where they're trying to introduce these people to children, I do not get this at all. Because nearly certainly, pretty much all of those, for one, that was an adult-oriented genre of entertainment. That was the idea. The primary idea is it was adult-oriented. These men acted like female prostitutes. That was kind of the whole thing. Why would you introduce that to children? Why do they have to read to children? Whatever happened to just normal poets and writers coming to read? Why a drag queen? if you want someone to dress up, why can't they dress up like the Easter Bunny? Why can't they dress up like a star or a banana or something to read to the why a drag queen? That's some strange stuff. I believe that it is to normalize it in the next generation. As the saying goes, these people do not have children, they have yours. And that is kind of the idea. The United States is a country to me that fell for that. The United States was a very Christian heavy nation that through education became very secular. Because their religion and their education separated, and voila, a generation of children grown up in Christian households grew up hating their parents. You don't find that same thing like that generally in Islamic countries, because their education and their religion is closely tied. All right, that's all I have for now, folks. That's all I have for now. I'll see you guys again for the next one tomorrow around that 9:30 p.m. time. Until then, people, hold it down. Stay good, stay well, stay inside, outside sketchy. I'm gone. Peace. Yeah, Shazam. Why not?